Have you ever walked down a supermarket aisle and noticed how incredibly cheap sugar is? A big bag costs less than a fancy cup of coffee. It's everywhere, in almost everything we eat and drink, from sodas and candies to bread and sauces. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why is this stuff, a staple in kitchens worldwide, so consistently affordable? And how is it even made? Well, get ready, because today we're pulling back the curtain on the sweet and surprisingly complex world of sugar. We are going to uncover the journey from a humble plant to that crystal clear sweetness in your sugar bowl. The story involves massive farms, incredible industrial machines, and a history that has shaped economies and cultures across the globe. So, stick around as we dive deep into the fascinating process of how sugar is made and reveal the economic secrets that keep its price so low. First things first, where does sugar come from? The two main superstars of the sugar world are sugarcane and sugar beets. Although they look completely different, sugarcane is a tall, thick grass that grows in tropical and subtropical climates, while sugar beets are root vegetables that look a bit like large, pale turnips and prefer cooler temperatures. They both produce the same exact molecule, sucrose. That's right. Chemically speaking, the sugar from a beet is identical to the sugar from a cane. Globally, about 80% of our sugar comes from sugarcane, with the remaining 20% coming from sugar beets. Countries like Brazil, India, and Thailand are the giants of sugarcane production, while the European Union, Russia, and the United States are major players in the sugar beet game. The choice between cane and beet often comes down to geography and climate. Let's start our journey on a vast sugarcane plantation. Picture endless fields of tall, green stalks swaying in the warm breeze. Growing sugarcane is a year-long process. It's planted, often using cuttings from mature stalks, and requires plenty of sunshine and water to thrive. When the canes are mature, usually after 12 to 18 months, they are ready for harvest. This is where the scale of the operation really hits you. Harvesting can be done by hand with machetes, which is incredibly labor-intensive, or, more commonly today in large-scale operations, with massive mechanical harvesters. These machines look like giant combines, cutting the stalks at the base, stripping the leaves, and chopping the cane into smaller, more manageable pieces. Time is critical here. Once cut, the sugar content in the cane starts to drop, so the harvested cane needs to get to the processing mill as quickly as possible, usually within 24 hours. Trucks and trains are loaded up and race against the clock to deliver their sweet cargo. Once the sugarcane arrives at the mill, the real magic begins. The first step is to get the juice out. The chopped cane stalks are fed into a series of massive, powerful rollers that crush and squeeze them, extracting every last drop of sugary liquid. Hot water is often sprayed over the crushed cane, called bagasse, to dissolve and wash away any remaining sugar. This process is incredibly efficient. The extracted liquid is a murky, greenish-brown juice that's about 10–15% sucrose. But what happens to the leftover fibrous material, the bagasse? It's not wasted. It's often burned as fuel to power the entire sugar mill, making the process remarkably self-sufficient. Sometimes it's also used to make paper and building materials. Now we have this raw, sugary juice, but it's far from the white crystals we know. The next stage is clarification. The juice is heated and mixed with lime, which is just calcium hydroxide. This causes impurities like dirt, plant fibers, and minerals to clump together and settle at the bottom or float to the top as scum. These impurities are then removed, leaving a clearer, lighter-colored juice. This clarified juice is then sent to the evaporators. This is a series of large tanks where the juice is boiled under vacuum. Boiling it under vacuum allows the water to evaporate at a lower temperature, which prevents the sugar from caramelizing and turning brown. As the water boils away, the juice becomes a thick, golden brown syrup, much like maple syrup in consistency. This thick syrup is now ready for the crystallization stage. It's moved into a large vessel called a vacuum pan and is seeded with tiny sugar crystals. This is the crucial step. These seed crystals act as nuclei, and as more water is evaporated, more and more sucrose molecules from the syrup attach themselves to these seeds, causing them to grow. It is a carefully controlled process of cooling and gentle stirring to encourage the formation of uniform crystals. The result is a thick mixture of sugar crystals and remaining syrup, known as masacuate. Think of it like a thick, gritty sugar slushy. To separate the pure sugar crystals from the sticky syrup, the masacuate is spun at high speeds in a centrifuge. It's like a super-fast salad spinner. The force pushes the liquid syrup, now called molasses, through tiny holes in the centrifuge basket, while the heavier sugar crystals are left behind. What you get is raw, unrefined sugar, which is light brown in color and has a thin layer of molasses still coating it. This is the stuff you might see sold as turbinado or demerara sugar. The molasses that's spun off isn't waste either. It's a valuable byproduct used in everything from animal feed and rum production to baking and flavoring. Blackstrap molasses, for example, is simply the syrup left over after the final crystallization step. But what if you want that pure snow-white table sugar? That requires a final refining step. The raw sugar is transported to a refinery, where it's first washed to remove the outer molasses coating. Then it's dissolved into a syrup again, and this time it undergoes a more intensive purification process. The syrup might be filtered through carbon, either from bone char or granular activated carbon, which acts like a magnet for any remaining color and impurities, decolorizing the syrup until it's perfectly clear. Finally, this pure, clear syrup goes through the crystallization and centrifugation process one last time. The result? The fine, white, sparkling crystals of granulated sugar that are 99.9% pure sucrose. It's then dried, graded by crystal size, and packaged for sale. The journey for sugar beets is similar in principle but different in the initial steps. Instead of crushing, the beets are washed, sliced into thin strips called cosettes, and then soaked in hot water to diffuse the sugar out, creating a sugary solution that then goes through a similar process of clarification, evaporation, and crystallization. So now we know how it's made, but that still doesn't fully explain why it's so cheap. The answer lies in three key areas: massive scale, incredible efficiency, and government support. First, the sheer scale of sugar production is mind-boggling. Second is the incredible efficiency of the modern sugar industry. As we saw, almost nothing is wasted. The leftover sugarcane fiber, bagasse, powers the mills. The molasses byproduct is sold for a variety of uses. This whole crop approach means that sugar producers have multiple streams of revenue from a single harvest, allowing them to sell the main product, sugar, at a lower price. The technology inside these mills is constantly being improved to extract more sugar with less energy and less water, squeezing every last drop of profit from the process. The third and perhaps most significant factor is government subsidies and trade policies. For decades, many governments around the world, including in the United States and the European Union, have supported their domestic sugar industries. This support can take many forms, such as direct payments to farmers, price guarantees, and import tariffs or quotas that limit competition from cheaper foreign sugar. These policies are designed to protect local farmers and ensure a stable domestic supply, but they also have the effect of artificially influencing the market. By keeping supply high and insulating the market from global price fluctuations, these government programs help keep the shelf price of sugar consistently low for consumers, even if it means taxpayers are footing part of the bill indirectly. So, the next time you sprinkle a spoonful of sugar into your coffee or bake a cake, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey it has taken. From a field of sun-drenched cane or earthy beets, through a complex and highly efficient industrial process, and shaped by global economics and government policy, that simple sweetness has a story that is anything but simple. It's a marvel of modern agriculture and industry, a system so optimized and supported that it can deliver one of the world's most desired commodities to your kitchen for just pennies. Thank you so much for joining me on this sweet exploration today. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive. We love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let me know what you'd like us to investigate next. Until then, stay curious.